Hello, this is Rodney Whittenberg.
And this is David Heitler-Klevans.
And welcome to Music for the New Revolution.
Pity the poor immigrant. Walls come tumbling down. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Hi, I'm Rodney Whittenberg.
And I'm David Heitler-Klevans.
And as you guessed, this is our episode on immigration.
Yes, which we've been meaning to get to because certainly been a big issue in recent times, no question.
Yes, it has.
All right, so we're always figuring out new stuff for this podcast. Now we have a banner behind us, and we're doing video as well as audio, and hello.
Yes, you can see what we look like, and you can say that we have a face for radio.
Yes.
So immigration. So what do we want to say about immigration?
Well, there's since we're always connecting it to music, of course, there's been a lot of great songs over the years that either celebrate the immigration history of our country or are protesting the inequities in the way people are treated, depending on where they come from and why they're coming here. And so I think the thing that music can often do that's so powerful about an issue like immigration is to bring stories of real people to life for people, because I think it's easy for people to denigrate people as being illegal. I think a lot of us would prefer to never refer to a person as illegal and to say undocumented.
Well, it's a really fascinating history for America, immigration. I find it like it is the paradox of all paradoxes. I mean, we have the Statue of Liberty in the harbor that says, "Give us your weak, your what does it say? Your huddled masses yearning to breathe free," and at the same time, there's slavery, and then there's the anti-Irish immigrant movement, the anti-Italian immigrant movement, the anti-Jewish immigrant movement of the early 1920s. It seems like, yeah, we want everybody to come. Stay away.
Right.
It's a paradox, because I think the thing that blows my mind every time I think about this country, every time I think about America, the thing that really blows my mind is the first time in the history of the world where there is a country unified behind an idea that represents all the peoples of the world.
Right. And that's why the anti-immigrant stuff, even though it has, been consistent through the history of our country, it makes so little sense. Like it flies in the face of the very basic ideas of this country. And you could argue against that. You could say, well, we've never lived up to those ideas. But unlike every other country in the world, there's no ethnicity that is American, even though people keep acting as if there is.
Well, there's some people that think that there is.
Right, but there really isn't. I mean, it's not like France, it's not like Germany, where you could say there is an actual French person who has a certain background, but we really literally don't have that here. So whenever people try to impose that, it really doesn't make sense. And I feel like there's such a clear argument for why it's ridiculous to be against it. Well, if you just think about the
influences of all the cultures that come, I mean, there is no American music without Irish and African American immigrants.
Right.
There just is no.
Unless you just say it's only Native American.
Indian
music.
Sorry. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, bad Rodney.
But again, the people who are anti-immigration, they don't recognize, that as American more than all of these immigrant cultures. Right. So it's there's still that hypocrisy at the root of things.
And the thing I still am in awe of is, I mean, it's true with every ethnic group, but I think particularly of African Americans, that there were African Americans who became who fought in the Civil War, became freed slaves, still experienced racism, generations later, then fought in World War One and World War II, and proudly wore the uniform of the country that treated him as a second-class citizen.
Right.
And that, to me, is mind-blowing on the part of, like, who, like, I don't know anyone personally who could do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that just takes an amazing amount of strength and fortitude to defend the country that doesn't want you in some ways.
Well, and I think one of the particularly ignoble things that's happening right now is some of the people who are being deported are being deported after they come back from serving
service,
in Afghanistan or someplace for fighting, supposedly for this country. And then, Trump and his minions are happy to deport that person as soon as they come back from their service, where they're all chicken hawks and have never served at all, and have no allegiance to anything beyond themselves and the almighty dollar. So, well, we, as usual, Rodney and I could go on and on about a lot of these topics, but we want to try to make sure that we keep getting some music in
here. Yes.
So one of the first things we wanted to play was from the Hamilton mixtape, from that amazing piece that Lin-Manuel Miranda put together. But then there was this, great album of kind of remixes and adaptations of those songs. So there's a great one that's Immigrants, We Get the Job Done. And I actually did get to see Hamilton. And I was sort of expecting when that there's a line in, the original version of this song. And I had read and heard that audiences cheered when they got to that line. And when I saw it in Chicago, it was not a huge
what's the line?
Cheer. Immigrants, we get the job done. That line. And, that people saw the connection to what's going on and sort of saw that as a good little middle finger to the current administration. But it didn't happen when I saw it, or at least, I was waiting for a big reaction. It wasn't as big. So anyway, here's that piece from the Hamilton mixtape.
When it gets into this whole issue of border security, who's going to say that the borders are secure? You've got the House and the Senate debating this issue, and it's really astonishing that in a country founded by immigrants, immigrant has somehow become a bad word. So the debate rages on, and we continue along with our story.
And just like that, it's over. We tend to our wounded. We count our dead. Black and white soldiers wonder alike if this really means freedom. Not yet.
I got 1 job, 2 job, 3 when I need them. I got 5 roommates in this one studio, but I never really see them. And we all came America trying to get a lap dance from Lady Freedom. But now Lady Liberty is acting like Hillary Banks with a prenup. Man, I was brave, sailing on graves. Don't think I didn't notice those tombstones disguised as waves. I'm no dummy. Here's something funny. You could be an immigrant without risking your lives, or crossing these borders with thrifty supplies. All you gotta do is see the world with new eyes.
Immigrants, we get the job done.
Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
We get the job done.
Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
Immigrants, we get the job done.
It's a hard line when you're an import, baby boy, it's hard times when you ain't sent for it. Races feed the belly of the beast with they pitchforks. Rich chores done by the people that get ignored. Ya se armó, ya se despertaron. It's a whole awakening. La alarma ya sonó hace rato. Los que quieren buscan, pero nos apodan como vagos. We're the same ones hustling on every level. Ten los datos. Walk a mile in our shoes. Abrochense los zapatos. I've been scoping y'all dudes. Y'all ain't been working like I do while y'all work ya. It hurts ya. You claim I'm stealing jobs, though. Peter Piper claimed he picked them. He just underpaid Pablo, but there ain't a paper trail when you living in the shadows. We America's ghost riders. The credit's only borrowed. It's a matter of time before the checks all come. But
immigrants, we get the job done.
Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
We get the job done.
Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
Immigrants, we get the job. Not yet.
It's only borrowed, it's America's Ghost Riders. The credit's only borrowed, it's America's Ghost Riders. America's Ghost Riders, America's Ghost Riders. The credit's only borrowed, America's Ghost Riders. The credit's only borrowed, it's America's Ghost Riders. The credit's only borrowed, it's America's Ghost Riders. The credit's only borrowed, it's
immigrants, we get the job done.
AOA, immigrants, we don't like that. Nah, they don't play. British Empire strikes back. They're beating us like 808s and hi-hats at our own game of invasion. This ain't Iraq. Who these Fugees? What do they do for me but contribute new dreams, taxes and tool swagger and food to eat? Cool, they flee war zones, but the problem ain't ours. Even if our bombs landed on them like the Mayflower. Buckingham Palace, a Capitol Hill. Blood of my ancestors had that all built. With an ink you print on your dollar bill. Oil you spill. Thin red line on the flag you hoist when you kill. But still we just say, look how far I come. Hindustan, Pakistan to London. To a galaxy far from their ignorance. Cause
Immigrants, we get the job done.
Por tierra o por agua, identidad falsa. Brincamos muros o flotamos en balsa. La peleamos como Sandino en Nicaragua. Somos como las plantas que crecen sin agua. Sin pasaporte americano, porque la mitad de Gringolandia es terreno mexicano. Hay que ser bien hijo de puta. Nosotros les sembramos el árbol y ellos se comen la fruta. Somos los que cruzaron. Aquí vinimos a buscar el oro que nos robaron. Tenemos más trucos que la policía secreta. Metimos la casa completa en una maleta. Con un pico, una pala y un rastrillo. Te construimos un castillo. ¿Cómo es que dice el coro, cabrón? Immigrants, we get the job done.
look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
We get the job done.
Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
Immigrants, we get the job done.
Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come.
Immigrants, we get the job done. Not yet.
All right.
That's pretty cool,
Isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's really
the first
cool.
time I've heard that. And so, Coach, one of the things interesting about Hamilton, I haven't seen it yet, but you have, so maybe you could speak to this. But from what I've heard, I'm really impressed with how non-musical it is. Like non-music. Let me rephrase that. It's very musical.
You mean like non-Broadway?
Yes, it's yes,
musical as in
yes.
Broadway musical
It's
theater.
not.
Yeah.
It's like the hit. It sounds pretty authentic in the sense of being Latin infused hip hop.
Yeah.
And I mean that could be a track you'd hear at a club. It sounds
Right now, just to be clear, that's not the way it is in
the
the
show. Okay.
But still, I agree with you. I think, and there are parts of it. It's pretty varied. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of music in it, but it doesn't sound like a typical Broadway musical. I mean, a lot of things being done today don't.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but it's kind of amazing to me, and I'm sure to a lot of people, that there haven't been truly hip hop musicals much before this,
Right.
because it does make a lot of sense as a for the art form.
Right. Yeah.
To do that, but I mean, he did it so
well.
brilliantly.
And the other thing is, he proves that you can write something that is political and have it be good music.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that is always the challenge. Something was just released recently. Someone put out I won't talk about it. Never mind. I just realized who it was. What I heard the other day, and it was by someone who should know better. But anyway,
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's as we this comes up a lot, and I think we both agree that there's certainly plenty of really crappy political music, but there's also I think, and we hopefully are celebrating this in our podcast.
Yes.
There's some truly amazingly well done stuff too. So
and I think we're going to hear some right now.
yeah, I think we. So we had the good fortune of bringing Joe Jencks into the studio a few months ago when he was in town in Philadelphia, and sat down with him and interviewed him and had him play some songs live here in the studio, and it was really amazing. And eventually you'll get to hear more of this and the complete interview, but we're going to excerpt a part where he talks about his beautiful song "Lady of the Harbor" for obvious reasons, and you'll hear some of the interview and hear that song as well.
So I wrote this song 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I was performing at the Kerrville Festival in Texas, and it was there was a newspaper article that I had read, and then I heard about it on NPR, that 4 Hopi had been arrested for not having green cards. And, they're like, excuse me, our people have been here for 1,500 years. What's your deal? And they were sent to a deportation center, and, they ended up, the lawyers got involved, and, but it was just, it should have been a huge national deal, and it wasn't. But that same year, I got to go to Ellis Island and look at my granddad's name on the books in Ellis Island, and I got to just think about, again, look at the issues of racism and look at why is the immigration story so different for different people. You know, who are the ones that came with no luggage in the hold of a ship? Who are the ones that came imported as laborers from China but had specific immigration code written to permanently exclude them from ever becoming citizens? Who are the ones that came, you know, from parts of Europe with privilege or parts of Europe with nothing and ended up dying in a mine in Butte, Montana, or somewhere in the Canadian Rockies with nothing? You know, I mean, to assume that race is the only factor that defines one's immigration experiences is also not really fair either. But there are so many different experiences that people have in so many different ways, and I would love to see us engage as a society in a real conversation about it, rather than you know, throwing money at quick fixes, because that's not the issue. The issue is racism, in my opinion. The issue is not about immigration. The issue is racism, and there are growing groups of people who are starting to feel their privilege threatened as a result of recognizing that maybe, you know, the era of white colonial power is finally over, and you know, like, to them I say, you know, maybe you should take some Valium and get used to the idea. You know, like this is, you know, like this. It is. The era of white colonial power needs to be over. You know, we need to be a global community. When I'm in a concert hall with people who are coming from all different walks of life, my job is just to tell the stories. My job is not to tell them what they should think or what their conclusions should be, but to give them the very best that I have as a musician, to render unto them the most beautiful work that I can do, and hope that they leave that concert hall with a heart that is just a little bit more awakened.
Far away, a distant lands, the timbers tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands, reach toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And so it was with my own king. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland. Their earthly cares packed in their bags, they cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She said, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Now we're locking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song? Will the dream survive the strain? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn its sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the harbor? And she welcomes them with open hearts. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Oh you lady of the harbor.
It's such a good song.
It's a great song, and it sounds so good too. I think, you know, Joe has such a beautiful voice, and he's such a great instrumentalist. But I also want to give props to Rodney here, because, you know, there aren't a lot of live in studio performances that get to sound that good. That's partly your work. So
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But it's what you have to work with too. I mean, he is so good, and just what a beautiful songwriter too. I mean, one of the things I was sitting thinking is, that's songwriting, because the way he's able to tell the story and through metaphor and the image of this lady in the harbor, so it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And
well, and it's a good example of what I was starting to say earlier about that. I think music has this capability of making these issues more about people's stories. And he made that point right before doing the song, that that's really his job as he sees it. And I think that, you know, it's not exclusive to the folk world, but I think it's a particularly strong tradition in the folk world of this idea that what music can be about is telling the stories of individual people and making their experiences more of a living thing for other people who haven't experienced that. And that's so important with these issues of immigration, because really part of the problem is there's people who aren't seeing the people at the border as human beings. And,
right.
And
they see them as less than.
Yeah, and they're not seeing their situation as something that actually matters to them.
Yeah.
But songs sometimes can break through that, I think. I hope. I hope so.
It's a way of creating a relationship where there isn't one. And I think, you know, if a song is good and it touches someone, it's almost as if they're having a relationship with that person that the song is about. Or they find some humanity in it. I mean, you know, great music is all about the human condition. Great art and
yeah, right. It doesn't have to be only music. I certainly have had movies that have done that for me, or books that have done that for me. But you know, that I think that all of these art forms have the capability of putting ourselves putting ourselves in the shoes. I was almost a teenager for a moment there. Putting ourselves in the shoes of other people that we can't experience what they experience, but those art forms can sometimes do the most possible of putting us there.
There and
and leading to compassion and empathy, hopefully.
Yeah. Yes.
Because we certainly need a lot more of that right now.
Compassion and empathy. Yeah, definitely. We need that. And we need our next song. What is our next song?
So let's hear a couple. So I think we're going to hear Flaco Jiménez, Across the Borderline, and I believe he's joined by John Hiatt on this.
Oh, interesting.
And then Elena and Los Fulanos with Amor, Migrante. And we were lucky enough to have Elena be part of one of our showcases that we had at NERFA last fall. And that was where I heard her for the first time. So those are always good opportunities.
Yeah.
Awesome. Here we go.
There's a land, so I've been told. Every street is paved with gold, and it's just
across the borderline. When it's time to take your turn, there's one lesson that you must learn. You could lose more than you'll ever hope to find. When you reach the broken promised land, when every dream slips through your hands, then you'll know it's too late to change your mind. 'Cause you paid the price to come this far, just to wind up where you are, and you're still just across the borderline. The river flows on like a breath in between our life and death. Tell me who's the next to cross the borderline. When you reach a broken promised land, when every dream slips through your hands, then you'll know it's too late to change your mind. 'Cause you paid the price to come this far, just to wind up where you are, and you're still just across the borderline. You're still just across the borderline.
Deja el nombre, mi patria, con tu adiós
All right. So once again, that was Elena and Los Fulanos with Amor, Migrante. And before that, the kind of heartbreaking piece by Flaco Jiménez, the Across the Borderline.
That was good.
And speaking of the borderline,
yes, the border.
There's a lot going on at the border these days.
There is a lot going on at the border, that very long stretch of land and water.
Yes, very shameful stuff. I have been particularly upset about the children being ripped from their parents and put in these horrible conditions in cages and I when I get in discussions with people about that, I feel. I guess for me, it's kind of a line in the sand, so to speak. When people are justifying hurting children, it just feels like they should be able to recognize that that's just not okay. That's just the way I feel. I mean, maybe it's partly because I work with kids and I have kids, and I just feel like when you're starting to argue that somehow there's a justification for hurting little kids, that's when you should look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not happy with doing this.
Well, they'd be able to say that if they actually thought of them as their children, which they don't, and they don't think of the people that are the only way they see the people that are coming across is as criminals or people breaking the law or people who are going to take advantage of the system. And it actually drives me crazy because it dehumanizes all the people and it makes it seem like well, it's the same old story. It's the same old story that's been going on for all the time. There are people who are powerful who make it seem like it's the fault of the people who have absolutely no power. But, someone posted something the other day. What do all these things have in common? And it was drug dealers, cartel, the gang... that everybody's talking about, which I can't think of the name of off the top of my head, but and then it had a picture of Democrats, and I'm like, okay, first of all, none of those people care about a wall. They already know how to get in because they're connected to other wealthy people. There's plenty of airstrips that are secret that you can fly right into the United States and land in an airstrip, unload your plane of drugs, and there's so many other ways to get that stuff in. And as it's been reported, the places that are the most difficult are actually the port of entry for shipping, and those are the places where it's really easy to smuggle stuff in and get different types of people in and all that sort of stuff. The people who are coming across the border are like the so low hanging fruit to go after it, and that always is the thing that gets me so angry. Is that when you blame the people at the very bottom of the economic political system for doing something just to survive, right? And you don't look at, well, why aren't we rounding up the people who hire them? You want to stop it. You really want to stop it. Why aren't we rounding those people up? Right. Oh, because they're not people of color and they have power. Right. So we can't round those up. It's the same thing with, not to go down a rabbit hole, but it's the same thing with prostitution. Well, take the Johns in. You want to stop it, why arrest the women? Because they're the most vulnerable. They're the least powerful. But it's the same old story.
Right. Well, I think it sort of reveals what a lot of these things are really about. Is when you think, okay, well, why don't we do the thing that would actually work? Maybe it's because that's not really the issue. Right. Like Joe Jencks was saying, this is real. These issues about immigration are really at heart racism. Like all you need to do is look at how many undocumented Europeans there are in this country and how nobody's going after them. And actually in another part of the interview with Joe Jencks, he specifically talked about that. We weren't able to include that this time. But and then another side of this is how crazy is it that people who have tried to give water to people in the desert, they get arrested because they're actually being kind. And that actually leads us really well to the next song we were going to play, which is by a guy named Ted Warmbrand. I don't think you've met him yet, but he's a really great guy. He lives in Arizona. Oh, cool. He does a lot of amazing political work. And I don't know how many songs he's written, but the songs that I've heard that he's written are really amazing. And this is one of his best ones, in my opinion. It's called Who's the Criminal Here? And it's actually not a totally new song, but it's one of those songs that even though I think you wrote it, in a previous decade, not ages ago, but but for other times, it feels like it was written for just this exact moment, in my opinion.
Let's take a listen.
Let's see, yeah.
If you have to leave your land and you meet your match on the burning sand, and someone lends a helping hand, who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Borderman can't let you through. What's a poor man gonna do? Businessman's got work for you. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Framing laws and aiming guns keeps you down and on the run. How will you feed your little ones? Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? When your skin is red or brown or black and blue on white man's ground, when your head is pierced with a thorny crown, who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Now I know how fear can leave you blind to the hopeful heart and the open mind, but to make a crime out of being kind, who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. The criminal. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? I can shut my eyes and I can turn away, and I can shut my mouth, nothing to say. Should someone die in this desert today, who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Tell me who, tell me who. Who's the criminal here? Dime quién, quién es el criminal. Dime quién, quién es el criminal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's powerful. It's very easily singable, too. We've done it in a rally already recently. But, yeah, I mean, that line about, but to make a crime out of being kind, that just seems like it could have been written about the guy who was arrested for giving water to people in the desert. And, yeah, there's some great lines in there.
And I love the rawness of how the acoustic instruments were recorded. There's an urgency to that. Right. And I love how his voice is, I think it's not the prettiest voice in the world, but there's urgency and gravitas in his voice. I like that. And just all the different Spanish sounds in there. That
we're hehearing a lot of accordion today.
Yes, a lot of
accordion to us.
Accordion, oh boy. Oh, here come the puns. Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting too. I mean, one of the things I was thinking, wow, I wonder what that song would sound like. I would love to hear Leonard, if he was still alive, Leonard Cohen do that song.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of interesting. I wonder what kind of take he would have on it, production, like instrumentation wise, and the same thing with I could also hear brain does not work when you want it to. The guy from New Jersey who sings with the gravel, Tom Waits.
Oh,
yes, I could hear Tom Waits doing it with with that New Orleans thing he was doing kind of in the early '90s, with the kind of weird New Orleans-y kind of sounding band.
Well, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Tom Waits, I was just telling you, Rodney, about a great version that Tom Waits just recorded of Bella Ciao as specifically as a current anti-fascist song.
Yeah.
And that's being spread around, and it's pretty cool. So check that out. We'll post it on our Facebook page, but we'll share it some more.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the guy we just heard.
So Ted, well, I know him through the People's Music Network, and he's been an activist and a songwriter, and for a long time, and he's really a very inspiring guy, and does some really cool stuff. And I'm actually going to be going down to Arizona in September, so I'm hoping that I'll get to see him down there. But
I'm also as a filmmaker, I want to put a challenge out to some of the filmmakers out there who might be listening to, hey, here's some really cool music that not a lot of people know about that you might want to reach out to some of these artists and see if you could, because the other thing about it, the song felt very cinematic to me.
Like
I could see.
It had this nice build to it too. Well, there is a video of it that has some images and stuff, but I'm sure that a filmmaker like yourself could do a lot with it. So,
Well, I could see it in a movie or something, like someone's riding down a road or. Yeah, it's a movie about immigration. Anyway,
right.
So what is our next?
Well, we were gonna, we sometimes include a throwback.
Oh, it's a throwback song.
Segment.
Okay.
Yeah, because our goal is to focus on music from the '80s to the present, since this is the time when a lot of people say, "Where's all the political music?" So our throwback, it seemed like it made a lot of sense to include a song from Woody Guthrie, because he had a lot of great songs about immigration.
Yeah.
And one of his most famous ones is Deportee, which he wrote the words for, and the music is by Martin Hoffman. And there's many, many great versions of this song, but I had found this one that I thought would be cool. That's a kind of a world music group called Word of Mouth. I only have one album of theirs, and I don't know if they made more, but the main person I knew who was in that group was a woman named Libby Harding, who was in a Nueva Canción group called Sabia, at least in the 80s. And this was done after it. And they kind of mash up Deportee by Woody Guthrie and Martin Hoffman with Pastures of Plenty, also by Woody Guthrie, and Times They Are Changing by that guy, Robert Zimmerman.
So how you found out about this was by word of mouth.
Yes.
How you found out about this song.
That's right. So because the group is word of mouth. Yes. So here's this kind of mashup with some interesting kind of Latin and funky and world music kind of settings of it. So
awesome.
The crops are all in and the peaches are rotting. Oranges piled high in the creosote. You're flying them back to the Mexican border to pay all their money to way back again. My father's own father, he waded that river. They took all the money he made in his life. My brothers and sisters all worked in the fruit trees, and they rode the trucks till they took down and died. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye Rosalita, adios mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane, and all they will call you will be deportee. The skyplane caught fire over Los Gatos Canyon, like a fireball amigos, Jesús y María. You won't have a name when you ride the Migrante, and all they will call you Del Valle de Texas la gente se va a otros estados para trabajar, año tras año llorar y llorar, dejando sus casas puertas par en par. Pero en California la chispa se da. Dices esas llaves hay que organizar, dotar nuestra gente y juntos luchar, pelear por justicia y la libertad. Green pastures plenty from dry desert ground, from the Red Coulee Dam where the waters run down. Every state in this union has migrants and them. We'll work in this fight and we'll fight till we win. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't knock up the hall. For he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. For the battle outside raging will soon shake your windows or rattle your walls. For the times they are a-changing. Mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command, and your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand. For the times they are a-changing.
All right, so that was Word of Mouth with that mashup.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like we were talking while it was going, sort of like a prog rock world music fusion.
Yes. Yeah, like, wait, is that King Crimson playing Latin music? What is going on? That's really cool. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun to sometimes find these songs that are covered by so many different people, and you have a lot of choices. But you know, I think that that one's a nice one.
Well, it's great to be able to convey the message through many different aesthetics. Yeah. That's what we're here to do.
Yes.
So I think we're going to close out the show with a song by an immigrant, not to this country, but an immigrant to England. I think she was, her parents immigrated there, and that is Sade. And this is Immigrant.
From where he did, he was turned away from every door like Joseph, to even the toughest among us. That would be too much. He didn't know what it was to be black till they gave him his change. Touch his hand to even the toughest among us. Don't you know that would be too much? Isn't it just enough how hard it is to live? Isn't it hard enough just to make it through a day? The secret of their fear and their suspicion, standing there looking like an angel in his brown shoes, his short suit, his white shirt, and his cuffs a little frayed, coming from where he did. He was such a dignified child, to even the toughest among us. Don't you know that would be too much? Isn't it just enough how hard it is to live? Isn't it hard enough just to make it through a day? Coming from where he did, he was turned away from every door like Joseph, to even the toughest among us. Don't you know that would be too much? He didn't know what it was to be black till they gave him his change, but didn't want to touch his hand, to even the toughest among us. That would be too much.
You've been listening to Music for the New Revolution. Music for the New Revolution is recorded at Melody Vision Studios in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. For more information about Music for the New Revolution, check out our website at
musicforthenewrevolution.com.
like us on Facebook, follow our Twitter feed, and also our Spotify playlist.
And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/music for the new revolution.
Thanks for listening.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and